Okay, everyone. The Hy-Vee race 1 at Iowa just ended, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. It was a fun race. Wish the whole track was repaved, but there's nothing IndyCar's going to do about that. Let's be honest. They don't have the money to be pouring into a track right now. Great result, great finish. Wish we had more leaders and lead changes. Good result for Scotty Mack. Good for the championship that we didn't have Palou just got there and lead a bunch. Every single person fighting for the championship has had their issue. You have Scotty Mack having a terrible first 2 races of the year. You had Newgarden getting a win taken away the first week, the first race of the year. You have Dixon not starting last week at Mid-Ohio. You have Power wrecking in the 500 and this week. Now Palou wrecking out this weekend. Bad luck on the start, especially for Dave Malukas and Canapino, who he went up and collected, and for the title sponsor. But I think that I wasn't really expecting a good result from Christian Lundgaard personally, so that might just be me. There was good results. I don't have the results pulled up. That's something I'll do in the future. But I know it was Scotty Mack finishing in front of Scotty Mack, Pato O'Ward in second. Joseph Newgarden takes third. Fourth is the Iceman, Scott Dixon. And saying it again, I think he's my championship favorite. Once he gets this hybrid system down more, and I think last weekend, I think if he was in that race, he would have got a podium. He might have even won. You let Scott Dixon do that, and this hybrid system plays into his strengths. Fuel saving builds more power. Not using the gas helps you regain power. I think that especially once we get a new chassis and a new hybrid system with that chassis, that's only going to play into Dixon's strength more. And as long as he's still in the series, when we get that new chassis, he's going to be a threat for years to come. And then my king, my favorite driver, because I'm biased, but he's not on the best team currently. And that's VK. I mean, I've been a VK fan. I've been through the highs, 2021 GMR Grand Prix, and the lows every other weekend. My first race, I saw him, he finished 33rd. So, I mean, it's a weird place. And I think it was then Ferrucci, which great defense by VK to be able to hold off Ferrucci there. Ferrucci was calling a dirty move. I think it's smart. VK knows you can't pass on the high lane. VK blocked up to the high lane. And then I think it was Kirkwood who had a good recovery. Issues for Ericsson, and I hope that's something they get solved. There seem to be a couple issues, and also the wrecking on the restart by Power was a little ridiculous, and that hard impact for Ed Carpenter. But I'd like to see if Harvey starts tomorrow, or if it goes to Connor, or if we knew Harvey wasn't feeling well, why wouldn't Dale Coyne get in contact with Connor before this race, or get in contact with Rasmussen, who doesn't have a seat for the ovals and who we know can drive good on an oval? I mean, that could help them see what's wrong. Someone who's been in a car multiple times this year, who was just in a car last week, who's in a car on a week-to-week basis and running decent. I mean, he isn't great. He was good last week. The hybrid system might be his good luck charm. I mean, and he only has 2 more races left this year. Let the kid try out another seat if necessary. And if Catherine Legge is going to keep getting oval seats, then really, I want her in a full-time seat so bad. because she can be good. Being at Dale Coyne doesn't help, or being at Rahal at the 500 doesn't help. Other than that, I think she could do good. I think if you put her in Connor's seat, she could do good. Or a couple years ago, if you guys remember that Ed Carpenter and Preda sponsorship to bring Simona Di Silvestro full-time in a part-time Ed Carpenter racing car, do that. We need more women in this series, especially if... How many women do we have in the lower series this year? 3? And Indy next? Maybe 4 next year, because I don't think Chadwick's moving up yet. But she is going to be a championship contender in this next year. We need to keep them in IndyCar. They're good drivers. We don't have Danica going out there. Yeah, Danica had a win. Danica also had beef with Dan Weldon. So, what are we getting at? What's my point to all this? We need to see consistency in the field. We have near the same number of drivers starting races this year as NASCAR has all year. I think that. I know we have over 40 with points on the year. And I get it. With the 500, that's at least 33. But still. Have some consistency. Get some of these older drivers that didn't really have a chance to prove themselves or had bad luck back in a seat. Next year, when it looks like we might have 2 former F1 driving rookies as drivers, and Valtteri Bottas, who's my favorite F1 driver, so that's going to suck. And in Logan Sargent, who I think is good. He's just racing Williams, who is the worst team on the grid. And that might not seem true, but I think it is. Sauber's the worst with pit stops, but Williams is the worst with race pace. But anyways, my takes on this is Ed Carpenter has speed on the ovals again. VK stock went up, I think, this weekend, seeing that he does have pace, and if he's given a car with some pace, he can drive it better than the pace shows. He was holding off cars that are faster than him, and that were putting down faster lap speeds. And Ericsson, Ferrucci, Kirkwood, whoever was lined up behind him, he was doing better. And Dixon lurks. That's what I'm going to say on that. You'll see what I mean when he shows up and wins the championship in Nashville. He isn't terrible on ovals. He isn't terrible anywhere. He's consistent. He will run up front, and he will show you why you cheer for him. And then Scotty Mac championship run. It's a surprise, but it could happen. I didn't expect it to happen this year. Maybe next year at the earliest. But yeah. Then my pick for tomorrow, gonna go Dixie. My guess is Dixie will fuel save into it, and if there were this many wrecks on the first night, tomorrow people will throw caution to the wind. They want a good result. And then I think VK will have an off day tomorrow. Not an off day, but he just won't get the top 5 that he had. Stretch this long enough. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe down below. Or I don't know where it is. Thank you, and goodbye.